What if I told you that hidden inside the philosophy of Niccolo Machiavelli are 7 ruthless laws of power that can allow you to influence, outmaneuver, and even dominate anyone instantly? Would you believe that a man who lived over 500 years ago still holds the keys to understanding human psychology, manipulation, and control in a way that feels uncannily relevant today? Think about the last time you were in a situation where someone seemed to hold all the power, whether at work, in a negotiation, or even in a personal relationship. Did you feel like they knew something you didn't? Did it seem as though they could bend the situation to their will, leaving you with no choice but to follow? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover might explain exactly why that happened and how you can turn the tables. Machiavelli has often been painted as cold, calculating, even dangerous. But beneath that infamous reputation lies a set of timeless psychological strategies that go far beyond politics or royalty. These are principles that cut straight into the heart of human behavior, revealing how people think, how they act under pressure, and most importantly, how they can be guided, influenced, or controlled. You may not realize it, but these laws are already at play around you, at your job, in your friendships, in the media, and in every arena where power and influence matter. The question is, are you aware of them, or are you being controlled by them without even knowing? Imagine walking into a room and immediately understanding who secretly holds the most authority. Picture yourself being able to steer conversations, win negotiations, and project an image so unshakable that others naturally follow your lead. This isn't about tricks or illusions. It's about mastering the core of human psychology, something Machiavelli understood centuries before modern science confirmed it. And once you begin to see the world through this lens, you'll notice just how predictable people actually are. Doesn't that make you curious? Doesn't it make you wonder what hidden levers of influence you've been missing all this time? Now, I need to be clear. These laws are not for the faint of heart. They require courage, self-awareness, and discipline. They force you to confront not only how others can be manipulated, but also how easily you can be manipulated if you're not prepared. You've probably already experienced this in your life, moments when someone's confidence, mystery, or timing completely disarmed you. Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, how did they do that? How did I end up agreeing without realizing it? That's exactly why understanding these laws is no longer optional. In a world where power shapes everything, staying ignorant is the fastest way to stay powerless. What you're about to uncover is not just a set of strategies, but a way of seeing the world that changes how you operate forever. So, stay with me until the end, because the first of these Machiavellian laws will open your eyes to a truth that most people never even consider. And as we begin to peel back these layers of Machiavelli's wisdom, I want to invite you into something deeper than just watching this video. These ideas are powerful, but they take on even greater meaning when we share how they connect with our own lives. Maybe you've already noticed moments when someone's presence or strategy shifted the entire dynamic of a room. Maybe you've even caught yourself using some of these laws without realizing it. If that resonates with you, leave a comment below and share what part of this strikes you the most. Your voice isn't just valuable. It helps shape a community of people who are searching for the same kind of timeless insight. And if you're finding this perspective eye-opening, if you can already feel the relevance of these laws in your own life, take a moment to like this video. It might seem like a small gesture, but it tells me and the platform that this message matters, that it's worth pushing forward to reach more people who need to hear it. Every like is a signal that what we're building here has impact. Most importantly, if you want to continue walking this path, exploring the wisdom of Jung, Nietzsche, Machiavelli, and so many other great minds who knew how to navigate the depths of human psychology and power, make sure you subscribe to this channel. That one step ensures you stay connected to a growing circle of people committed to mastering not just knowledge but life itself. The truth is, this isn't just content, it's a shared journey. Your presence, your engagement, your participation is what keeps this channel alive and expanding. So if this resonates with you, take that moment to join in. Comment with your thoughts, add your like, and subscribe to stay close to this conversation. Because what comes next will dive even further into Machiavelli's first great law of power. And once you hear it, you'll start to see the world around you with entirely new eyes. To truly understand these 7 laws of power, we first need to look at the man behind them. Niccolo Machiavelli was not simply a writer sitting in a quiet room with abstract ideas. He was a Renaissance diplomat, living in Florence during one of the most turbulent periods in European history. Political alliances shifted overnight, families rose and fell in brutal struggles for influence, and survival often depended on your ability to think faster, act bolder, and adapt without hesitation. Machiavelli was right in the middle of these storms, observing firsthand how leaders gained authority, lost it, and sometimes paid with their lives. His writings were not born from theory alone, but from the raw, dangerous realities of power. When he wrote The Prince, it was not intended as a polite manual on leadership. It was a survival guide, a book designed to equip rulers with the strategies necessary to hold on to power in a world where trust was fragile and betrayal was always around the corner. What made his ideas so striking, and still controversial today, is that he stripped away illusions. While others wrote about virtue, morality, and ideal leadership, Machiavelli focused on results. He revealed the truth hidden behind appearances, that power is not maintained by being good, but by being effective. His sharp observations exposed the hidden mechanics of influence, showing that success often depends less on intention and more on perception, timing, and control. And here is where the impact becomes even more fascinating. Although his words were aimed at princes and rulers of his time, the principles extend far beyond the walls of castles and courts. They reach into the decisions we make every day, the negotiations in boardrooms, the dynamics inside families, and even the unspoken battles of status and authority that happen in ordinary conversations. This is why Machiavelli's insights continue to resonate. They are not just relics of a distant era. They are timeless revelations about human behavior and the psychology of control. Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject because once you understand the man behind the philosophy, you begin to realize that these laws are not abstract theories, but tools forged in the fire of history itself. They carry a truth that is uncomfortable, yet liberating. To master power, you must see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. And that shift, in perspective, changes everything. So tell me, does this idea strike something in you? Write it down in the comments with the phrase, "This makes sense to me." The first Machiavellian law of power is simple, yet it carries a weight that can shift the course of any interaction. Control perception before reality. Human beings rarely respond to the truth as it is. Instead, they respond to what they perceive to be true. Think about it. How often do people form judgments within seconds of meeting someone long before they understand who that person really is? This instinct isn't rational, but it's deeply human. And Machiavelli understood that those who master appearances can often dictate outcomes, even when the facts tell a different story. This law is about the image you project, the aura that surrounds you before you even speak. Confidence, for example, has the power to bend perception. When you walk into a room with shoulders back, eyes steady, and silence that feels intentional, others interpret that as strength. They may not know your background, your resources, or even your plan, but their minds begin filling in the gaps, often with assumptions that favor you. Presence becomes more influential than reality itself. Silence is another underestimated weapon. Most people feel compelled to fill the air with words, to explain themselves, to prove something. But those who can remain silent in key moments project control. That silence creates tension, it demands attention, and it forces others to wonder what you're holding back. In the absence of answers, people often imagine power where none may exist. That's why restraint, not constant speech, often defines authority. Even small choices, how you dress, how you sit, how you listen, feed into this law. Appearances are not superficial, they are the stage upon which influence is performed. Once you grasp this, you begin to realize that perception is the battlefield where power is won or lost long before reality is ever revealed. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because once you see how perception shapes every decision, every judgment, every outcome, you begin to recognize that controlling it is not just useful, it's essential for anyone who seeks true influence. The second Machiavellian law of power strikes at one of the deepest questions of human relationships. Is it better to be loved or feared? Machiavelli's answer was clear. It is safer to be feared than loved. But this principle is often misunderstood. He wasn't promoting cruelty or ruthless domination for its own sake. What he meant was that power built only on affection is fragile, while power reinforced by respect endures. Love can fade. It can shift with moods, circumstances, or disappointments. Respect, however, has a firmness that holds people accountable to you, even when emotions change. Think about leadership in today's world. A boss who only wants to be liked by their employees might hesitate to make tough decisions, hoping to preserve popularity. But when problems arise, that same likability becomes a weakness. The team respects them less because boundaries were never set. On the other hand, a leader who commands respect by setting clear standards, holding others accountable and showing unwavering discipline may not always be adored, but their authority remains unquestioned, and when real challenges arrive, people follow strength, not softness. This applies in business negotiations as well. A negotiator who seeks approval might give too many concessions just to keep the atmosphere friendly. But one who establishes firmness, even at the risk of seeming difficult, creates an aura of authority that protects their interests. Fear here doesn't mean terror. It means the quiet recognition that crossing you carries consequences. That recognition is what cements influence. Machiavelli's insight reminds us that affection can be a bonus, but respect is the foundation. The truth is, being loved without respect leaves you powerless, but being respected, even if not loved, ensures your influence survives. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because once you see how fear and respect shape human behavior, you begin to understand why lasting authority is never built on love alone. The third Machiavellian law of power is one of the most fascinating, because it plays directly with the human mind. Never reveal your true intentions. People are constantly trying to predict others, searching for patterns, motives, and signals that reveal what someone will do next. The moment your intentions are visible, you become predictable, and once you are predictable, you are controllable. Machiavelli understood that mystery is not just an accessory to power, it is one of its strongest defenses. Think of a skilled chess player. They don't announce their strategy before making a move. They advance in ways that seem ordinary, but hidden within those moves is a deeper plan. By the time their opponent realizes what's happening, it is already too late to respond. The same principle applies to life. When you reveal too much about what you want, whether in business, relationships, or competition, others can anticipate and block you. But when you keep your real goals concealed, you leave people guessing, and that uncertainty tilts the advantage in your favor. Consider the world of negotiation. Imagine two executives sitting at a table. One lays out every detail of what they hope to achieve, while the other speaks in broad terms, leaving their true priorities obscured. The first becomes easy to corner, while the second maintains leverage, forcing others to make concessions just to uncover their direction. This is the art of controlled ambiguity. It protects your position and amplifies your influence. Mystery creates curiosity, and curiosity gives you power. Silence, half-truths, and calculated unpredictability keep others unbalanced, always a step behind. And when people cannot read you, they cannot restrain you. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because once you understand the art of hidden intentions, you begin to see how unpredictability itself becomes a weapon of dominance. The fourth Machiavellian law of power takes us into the hidden layers of human nature. Exploit weakness, guard your own. Machiavelli believed that no matter how powerful someone appears on the surface, every person carries a flaw, an exposed nerve that, when touched, shifts their behavior. It might be ego, the need for recognition. It might be greed, the hunger for more than they already possess. It might be vanity, the desire to be admired. These weaknesses are like doors left slightly open, and those who notice them first can step inside with ease. The truth is, most people reveal their vulnerabilities without realizing it. They talk too much about what they want, they react strongly to criticism, or they chase validation. By paying attention to these signals, you can uncover where their defenses are weakest, and once you know that, you gain leverage. But Machiavelli also warned that while exposing others is powerful, leaving your own flaws uncovered is dangerous. To master this law, you must learn the art of concealment. If your ego is easily wounded, train yourself to remain calm under insult. If greed tempts you, hide it behind discipline. If vanity draws you toward constant praise, redirect it into silent confidence. The less others can see your soft spots, the harder it becomes to manipulate you. Modern life offers countless examples of this dynamic. In business, a competitor's desperation for recognition can be used against them, while the leader who hides their insecurities remains untouchable. In relationships, understanding another's emotional triggers gives you influence, but guarding your own prevents unnecessary conflict. This balance between exploiting and protecting defines who holds control. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because once you master the dual skill of uncovering weakness while guarding your own, you begin to navigate every interaction with a sharper, almost invisible power. The fifth Machiavellian law of power is about something most people overlook until it is too late: mastering timing and the element of surprise. Power is not only about what you do, but when you do it. The right action at the wrong time can fail completely, while even a modest action taken at the perfect moment can shift the entire balance of a situation. Machiavelli knew that hesitation is weakness, inaction signals uncertainty, and uncertainty invites others to seize the advantage. But when you act decisively and with bold timing, you send a message of control that ripples far beyond the moment itself. Think of opportunities in business or competition. One person hesitates, waiting for conditions to be perfect, while another moves quickly, securing the deal, the client, or the market before anyone else even notices the opening. That sudden move creates shock and respect. The same applies to leadership. Decisive action in a crisis reassures followers and unsettles rivals. People trust those who seem to know exactly when to strike, because it feels like strength, even if behind the scenes it was careful calculation. Surprise multiplies this effect. When your actions are unexpected, they carry greater impact. A competitor may be preparing for the obvious move, only to find themselves blindsided by a strategy they never saw coming. This unpredictability disrupts their balance and forces them into reaction mode, where they are always one step behind. Mastering timing requires patience, observation, and discipline. It means holding back until the exact moment when your move carries the greatest weight. And when you do act, the boldness of your decision amplifies your presence, leaving others with no doubt about who controls the field. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject because once you understand how timing and surprise combine, you realize they are not just tactics. They are the pulse that gives power its edge. The sixth Machiavellian law of power brings us to one of the most misunderstood elements of influence: alliances. Machiavelli warned against isolation because standing alone makes you vulnerable. No matter how skilled, strong, or intelligent you are, there will always be moments when you need others to amplify your reach or shield you from threats. But here is the key. Alliances must never be built on pure friendship or sentiment. They must be built strategically, with a clear understanding of leverage. The goal is not to depend on others, but to position yourself so that others depend on you. Think about the dynamics of business partnerships. When two companies collaborate, the one holding the critical resources, information, or audience naturally becomes the dominant force. Even if both sides appear equal, the partner who cannot be easily replaced is the one who dictates the terms. This principle is just as true in personal life. Friendships and networks can open doors, but if you give more than you receive, you are placing yourself at a disadvantage. Real power comes from ensuring that people need what you offer more than you need what they provide. Machiavelli saw alliances as temporary instruments, useful for advancing your position, but dangerous if they become dependencies. He recognized that loyalty is fragile when rooted in convenience. What keeps allies close is not affection but necessity. The more indispensable you make yourself, the harder it becomes for others to walk away. This doesn't mean being cold or manipulative in every relationship. It means being conscious of balance. You can create bonds, share value, and support others, but always maintain something that tilts the scale in your direction. That might be specialized knowledge, influence over key people, or control of resources. When you hold the leverage, alliances strengthen you instead of weakening you. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because once you understand how to build alliances without surrendering leverage, you begin to see relationships not as risks, but as powerful tools of strategy. The seventh Machiavellian law of power might be the most difficult to master, because it requires turning inward, outlast with strategy, not emotion. Power is rarely won in a single moment. It is built, tested, and maintained over time, and those who allow emotions to dictate their decisions inevitably stumble. Anger, pride, jealousy, and even excitement can cloud judgment, pushing people into impulsive moves that serve the moment but destroy the bigger plan. Machiavelli understood that real authority comes from self-mastery, the ability to act with clarity while others drown in their feelings. Consider the difference between a leader who reacts out of anger and one who pauses to calculate the effect of every response. The first may win a brief confrontation, but the second positions themselves to win the entire war. Strategy means thinking several steps ahead, imagining not just the immediate impact, but the long-term consequences of every choice. This kind of patience is rare, but it is what separates rulers from players and lasting influence from short-lived sparks. In business, emotional decisions often lead to rushed investments or poorly thought-out risks, while disciplined strategy builds empires over decades. In personal life, an argument fueled by emotion can destroy trust in seconds, but controlled silence and carefully chosen words can shift the balance in your favor permanently. To outlast means to accept that endurance itself is power. The impulsive rise and fall quickly, burning their energy on battles that don't matter. The strategic endure, conserving strength, waiting for the right moments, and ensuring their dominance grows instead of fading. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because once you grasp the power of emotional discipline and long-term strategy, you begin to understand why those who outlast inevitably rule over those who overreact. When you bring all 7 of these Machiavellian laws together, a bigger picture begins to form. This is not about manipulation for its own sake, nor is it about cruelty or domination at any cost. It is about becoming untouchable, about moving through life with clarity, strength, and strategic presence, so that no one can easily control you. Each law is a psychological key, opening a different door into the hidden mechanics of power. Controlling perception shows you that appearances often outweigh truth. Fear and respect teach you that authority must rest on strength, not on fragile affection. Concealing intentions gives you unpredictability, while exploiting weakness reminds you that knowledge of human flaws is leverage. Mastering timing shows you that boldness at the right moment multiplies impact, while alliances built on leverage protect you from isolation. And above all, outlasting with strategy over emotion ensures that your influence doesn't flicker out, but endures through storms. Think about what happens when you integrate these lessons into your own life. Suddenly, the chaos of human behavior begins to make sense. You start to see the hidden patterns in leadership, relationships, and decision-making. You stop reacting blindly and begin acting with purpose. This is the transformation Machiavelli envisioned. Not a world where the ruthless always win, but a world where the prepared can stand unshaken. These principles are not just about power over others. They are about mastery of yourself, and that is where true influence begins. Which of these laws do you think is the most powerful in your own life? Drop your answer in the comments, and let's see which one dominates. And if you want more timeless lessons from Machiavelli, Jung, Nietzsche, and the greatest minds in history, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next video. If you made it all the way here, it tells me something. You're not just curious, you're committed to understanding these deeper truths about power and human nature. That's exactly the kind of energy I want in this community. So if the content spoke to you, take a moment to subscribe. It's the simplest way to stay close to these ideas and keep building that mental edge we've been exploring together. And if you felt connected to this journey, let me know in the comments by writing, "I'm with you until the end. I read every single one, and it's powerful to see who's walking this path alongside me." And of course, if this message resonated with you, give the video a like. It helps reinforce the connection we've built here and makes sure more people can discover content that truly matters. There's also another video waiting for you right here that dives even deeper into this conversation. Click on it and let's continue this journey together over there.